What was the agreement that you had with Anderson Regional Landfill?
The request they made, and I want to say it's around 588,000 tons, I think it was, but we did understand that that would probably last for the next 4 to 5 years.
Okay, and was there anything that you guys had discussed and agreed upon to make that extra tonnage pass?
Basically that no out of state, make sure the roads are kept clean, make sure there's no mud going onto the roads from trucks and things of that nature, and the trucks had to follow a certain path to come into the landfill.
Yeah. The 2021 report did show that they take in out of state. Was that a surprise to your office?
Well, when I saw it, I did contact our DHEC folks to see where that number came from. Actually, what had happened was there's a company in Greenville that does take out of state liquid type stuff. It comes into that facility and they process it and make it more solid and then dispose of it. So once it's generated from that facility, it's not an out-of-state waste anymore, per DHEC.
So why would it be listed under out-of-state at DHEC?
It shouldn't have been in there.
It shouldn't have been in there?
No.
Interesting. And so when I reached out to DHEC, they did confirm that out-of-state trash was taken, and they listed those various places like North Carolina and New York.
Yep.
Is that inaccurate?
That was taken to that facility, and it was processed, and once that facility processes it, it is the generator.
Which facility? The one, Anderson Regional, once they process it?
No, VLS Recovery out of Greenville.
Okay, so what you're saying, so help clarify. So what you're saying is there's a facility in Greenville that takes out-of-state trash.
It was
you explained.
Out-of-state material.
Okay, I see. So, yeah, help clarify this. So when DHEC lists in its report that it takes out-of-state trash, why is that not considered to be out-of-state trash?
Once it comes in there, it's kind of like when you go to the grocery store, you buy stuff that actually comes from out of state. So they become the generator of the trash. When it comes to your house, you become the generator. So it's just a process that DHEC counts it as, because I did ask them the same question. They said once it becomes in, it's a business that is providing a service, and they also take stuff from Greenville, from Anderson, and all in the upstate, and it is not considered, once they come and process it, it is not considered out-of-state trash.
Does it concern you that the trash originated, though, in places like New York? Even if it was processed in Greenville County and then moved to Anderson County?
Yes.
It does concern you? It
does. And in talking with the folks at the landfill, Waste Connections, they are no longer doing business with them. So that is, I would ask that be put out there, but they are not doing any business with that company anymore.
So that was a one-time thing for 2021?
Well, it's, as far as I know, I haven't looked at the 22 report yet, so I'm having to go back and track that down.
Do you feel misled in a way that you weren't told about it, though?
Well, in talking with the landfill folks, they didn't know that anything was coming out of state like that, so they were not informed of it. I've talked to their head management, so that's what they've told me.
How is it possible that a landfill couldn't know that things are coming from out of state when DHEC knows?
Well, DHEC didn't know until, I guess, once that company sent their report into them. See, Anderson Regional did not see that particular report. They didn't see it until like you did and I did.
So it sounds like a whole bunch of people didn't realize what was happening?
I think so. I mean, like I said, they're a generator of waste, just like any company here in Anderson County would be. So they're they have a service, and not that the landfill is going to go to every single customer. Where's your waste coming from? Where's your waste coming from? But it was just a part of business.
After what happened, do you feel confident that Anderson Regional Landfill will not take any out-of-state trash, whether it's processed in Greenville County or?
I don't think they will knowingly take anything. You know, like I said, somebody moves from North Carolina into South Carolina. Well, they bring their stuff, and all of a sudden they're trashing it. Well, it actually came out from North Carolina. But it's a business thing that, you know, maybe we need to try to step up to make sure where everything's coming from. But as I say, DHEC does not classify that as a out-of-state waste the way this company did.
Well, actually, it was the DHEC document that actually does classify it as out-of-state waste.
Exactly.
They're the ones that do classify it that way.
They put it on that, and I would say you need to talk to their folks on that and why it was put in there like that.
I will, though I did reach out to them and they confirmed all the various places, including other counties within South Carolina and places like New York, North Carolina, and Georgia. So they did give me that confirmation. I'll double back with them for sure, you know. But I have to ask, just because, you know, I am speaking with homeowners who say, this has grown so much, the smell, the traffic.
Absolutely.
What do you say to taxpayers who may be very upset to learn that that landfill was taking out-of-state trash, 66,000 tons, in addition to Anderson County's trash and other counties in South Carolina?
Basically, I have to say that, you know, the landfill folks have explained to me that they didn't understand that anything was coming out of state to that facility. They are dealing mostly with the upstate area, and that's what they're trying to deal with. They are trying to do some of the right things. I have spoken with them as of yesterday and today, again, about the smell. They're fixing to put in $500,000 worth of more equipment and investment into trying to control that smell. They pick up litter on the highway coming in every day, every other day, trying to help with that. They help try to control their traffic that is coming in to make sure they're not going on, you know, more rural roads and all that to be dangerous for folks. So they want to keep them on the main state highways if possible.
So you feel confident that they are being honest with Anderson County?
I feel right now that we're going to watch to make sure. We're going to do more to make sure that everything is coming from where it's supposed to be coming from. So we may be doing some more inspections of that.
I think people will appreciate hearing that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like I said, we are forefront and honest with everybody that anything we know. I know that the landfill folks are going back in to look at some of this other stuff to see what's going on with that. But and it's possible I haven't got back with DHEC later on today, but trying to make sure how that is tracked and all that. But like I said, DHEC is defining it that it is not out of state.
I'm not sure I'll be able to say that in this story, but I'll go back to DHEC.
I'm explaining
they're saying to you,
you need to
and
hear
I'll
from them.
Yeah, I'll definitely verify because to me, I've got two sources from DHEC, one in email format and one in the document that says otherwise. They did confirm DHEC that Anderson Regional reported receiving waste from the following counties, and it listed all the counties in South Carolina, and then also reported receipt. Anderson Regional Landfill reported receipt. This is how it's worded. So I'm just telling you. So DHEC told me Anderson Regional Landfill reported receipt of waste from Georgia, Massachusetts, North Carolina, and New York. When you hear that DHEC is saying that Anderson Regional reported that, do you feel misled?
Well, in speaking with DHEC and speaking with Anderson Regional, I was told that Anderson Regional did not report out of state with that on their report. That came from a report from violates recovery that they turned into DHEC.
A different place in Greenville County that was processing it.
Yes.
But
it's still, the material, the way it was deciphered and done, did wind up at Anderson Regional Landfill.
And how do you feel about that?
Well, I wasn't happy to hear that.
Yeah. You think taxpayers are going to be a bit concerned to hear that?
I'm sure they will be. Yeah. I'm sure they will be. I mean, we don't want out-of-state waste coming to Anderson County. We've stated this from the beginning throughout, and anytime it's ever been brought up to me, will the landfill be taking out-of-state waste, I've always said we are not allowing it, and we will fix up whatever we have to fix to make sure we're not getting out of state. But we also have to go by DHEC regulations, and you know, like I said, right now I'll be dealing with the situation of, is it really out of state? Is it generated from this facility? How do we classify that?
Seems like a lot of nuances.
Yes, I haven't had to deal with that so far, so this is kind of a first, and like I said, we're going to look into this to see what we can do.
You do have a document in writing with Anderson Regional Landfill saying no out-of-state trash.
Yes.
That's in writing.
Yes.
So this threw you for a loop probably to find out that somehow trash from out of state got to the landfill.
Yes, it did. Yeah. It did. But like I said, two different definitions coming around it. I know as the public, our residents are going to definitely say it's out of state. DHEC is defining it different, so we're just going to have to go back and see and discuss this more. Yeah. Like I said, this is brand new.
Parts of DHEC. Yeah, but I hear what you're saying, and I think people will appreciate that you're on top of it and your candidness, because frankly, you know, these are just the type of state documents that get buried, you know, and most people wouldn't ever read a 108-page, you know, state document. So, you know, but the fact that the county is here to help with that, I mean, what do you want to say to the homeowners, especially the ones that live nearby, that are hearing this news?
Well, basically what we're going to go ahead and try to do is have another community meeting. We've had them a few years back. Of course, COVID hit and all that, but we need to, I think, have a community meeting, let voices be heard with the landfill folks, and address all the situations and what the community needs to see and done by them. I have heard from the landfill folks that their commitment is they are investing, like I said, $500,000 into their gas system to help with the smell issue. Also looking at the fixing around the road stuff to make sure that no litter on the roads, picking up every day, and no mud on the road. They're fixing their tire washing system, as I was told today. So hopefully we get all these things and get everybody back on track.
It's good to have you staying on top of it. You know, I'm sure they will appreciate to hear that. You know, and one question is just following up on the settlement way back from early 2000s. I was actually surprised to hear from the environmental consultant that I'm working on with this, who's cluing me into how this generally works. That's not uncommon for homes near landfills to come to an agreement, you know, file a lawsuit, come to an agreement, because, you know, the standard of living for homeowners near landfill really changes, especially as it expands. Right. Do you think it would be fitting for more homeowners to be compensated considering the growth?
I would think that's what they need to adhere to make the community feel better. I think the landfill needs to work that out with those folks, and, you know, to help the situation out, because there's some things of it's an inconvenience. We understand that, and we also understand that we have our whole county that we have to make sure we've got a system in place that it's not costing $200 a year to get rid of their household garbage and all that. And that's why we say, please recycle, please do what you can to keep less trips down that highway.
Definitely. And speaking of that, I'm coming down to my last couple of questions here. The highway itself, so it was really interesting for me to learn in this process that I believe it was 2014, June of 2014, that the Anderson Regional Landfill, the manager there at the time, instituted a new rule for hauling and vendors, that they weren't allowed to travel on certain roads, more country roads probably, but one of them was a part of Big Creek Road at the time. So that leaves really only one part of Big Creek Road for the entrance. Do you think there's an undue burden on the homeowners who live in that part of Big Creek Road that's now the only allowed entrance to the landfill with all the traffic?
I think basically they had to try to minimize where they could. There's roads in the area that are even smaller. It is state highway coming into that, and basically this actually came back from like 2001, and part of the FIN process that these were the agreed upon avenues and coming into the landfill. So to keep, like I said, basically on major roads that can handle that kind of traffic.
But what about those homeowners who live near there? They're getting double the traffic now.
They've been getting that as the growth came about. Yes, the traffic's incurred there, but there are other areas right in there that would be even worse to put those trucks on.
Yeah. And does the landfill compensate the county at all for all the wear and tear on the roads in those areas? Or
the county does receive a host fee that we can help to apply back to roads that are county roads, but that is a state highway.
Does that host fee increase when the tonnage increases?
It can. Depends on if it's coming from the county residents or if it's businesses in the county or outside the county.
Given that and all those things that you mentioned, the smell and all that, and it's great that you guys are on it to try to alleviate some of this stuff, but it's hard to alleviate all of it. Is the growth that's happening at the Anderson Regional Landfill in the last several years worth it for the people of Anderson County?
That's kind of a hard question to answer.
It's hard.
I mean, nobody wants a landfill. I mean, I have to be honest about that, that no one wants a landfill, but you try to figure out the best processes you can, and this landfill was already in the process years ago, and they've just tried not to move here to here to here. So you either have to have a landfill or a transfer station. There's always going to be some kind of inconvenience with it, unfortunately.
It seems like a lot of that growth, though, is by taking trash from at least outside Anderson County. If my numbers are correct, I believe it's almost half of the trash that it takes, or actually a lot more than that. No, it is, because 100,000, in 2021, it was about 100,000 tons that it took from Anderson County alone. The rest, over 400,000 total, so about 300,000 was from outside the county. Is that worth it to the people of Anderson County?
I don't think our residents are going to figure that it's worth it. You know, the problem is, like I said, we have to handle our trash, and that's why DHEC is set up to have a demonstration of need where we need to put landfills, because you can't put it here, you can't put it there, but this was one that was already trying to keep it in the same place.
Yeah, I know. I hear you, and I sympathize very much, because you're absolutely right. Like, no one wants a landfill nearby, but we all need a landfill when it comes down to it.
The unfortunate part, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's illegal to burn trash in the state of South Carolina. More people need to recycle, so it's due diligence for all residents. We need to recycle everything we can to make the less trips to the landfill.
Yeah. Is there anything else that I'm forgetting, or is there anything that you want to say to the homeowners who live nearby, who are wanting that landfill to finally see its last days?
I mean, like I said, nobody wants a landfill. We will definitely continue to monitor what's going on up there and try to make it as a convenience as we possibly can. We know it's a burden on them, we understand that, and we don't want to burden anybody.
Yeah. So how much oversight does Anderson County have over this landfill?
We do have some oversight. I mean, DHEC has a lot of oversight with the landfill because there's a permitting process with the state on any landfill that we have to make sure that treatments are done right, things are covered like they're supposed to be, and handled that way. As the county, we'll monitor trucks coming down the road, losing litter and all that. We have environmental enforcement, which we, if someone's litter, yes, they're gonna be fined. So we do that. We also have our detention center. We have a couple crews that go out and pick up on roads when needed and necessary where they may be, but it's all over the county. I do understand now that the state is gonna put more into the litter program this coming year to pick up more on state roads, because a lot of what litter we do see is on state roads, and the county has 2 litter crews, and plus trying to rely on volunteers, but there's a lot of miles in Anderson County. The county has the right to cancel our contract with them on our stuff, for sure, and not do business with them. And you know, at that time, we'd have to look at building another landfill or a transfer station, because you got to look at all the municipalities around our county, plus all the private haulers, which we probably have about 40. So you know, there's a service there, and if we take it down the road, say Greenville or something like that, there's going to be added cost put into that. So the positive of landfills is if you got it in your county, you're straight trucking it to right there. But if you have to do the transfer station and all that, then there's added cost. So, and you want to try to balance out as best you can to help all the residents of the county. And like I said, we don't want to see anybody suffer any way, shape, or form. And we are always doing our best to try to keep our residents in that area as happy as possible. We've had good times, and I mean, there's going to be some bad times, and you have to go back and try to straighten out the horse. So,
speaking of straightening out the horse, the nuances of this out-of-state trash, the claims that because it was processed in Greenville County, even though it came from New York and Massachusetts and who knows where, that it's no longer considered to be out-of-state trash. People are maybe going to think that's a little bit like laundering trash. What is your take on those nuances?
You're making it hard.
That's my job.
Understand my position, okay? Yeah. I'm in the middle of this, and I am trying to appease all the sides. and trying to take care of something. I don't want anything coming from out of state. That is our stand.
Whether or not it's processed in Greenville County or another county, if it comes originally from out of state, you don't want it.
And I have stated that already with the landfill folks. So I'm trying to deal with it as best I can right now.